Hey guys, song description for someone came in the room. There might be someone must have come in on the other side. Because we put me on train marshal tonight. I'm usually night guard, but sometimes they put me on train marshal, and then so one of the rules with the train marshal is we can't have smoker until all the trains are gone. So let's say if I start at 7, I can't have smoker until, well, the last train comes back in, so about 1 o'clock in the morning, and then I'll finish at 2. So that, because we started at 7 or started at 8, will be either one of those two. We don't get any smoker or anything till 1 o'clock, but then they say, you can just have smoker from then on in, and if you want to leave at 20 to 2, then just go, so it's, but I just searched it up, and this morning, so I think someone's here, must be in the spirit. It's a good presence, but again, I'm so used to just talking to people when someone's physically here, that's why I'm always by myself when I do this. We had a good rowdy bunch tonight on the train. Well, depends which train driver you get to, because some train drivers think it's amazing to hear people singing on the train. I suppose it also depends on the genre, because they were like, "No way, never, no more will I play the wild rover. No, never, no more." And basically all the songs they sang were like traditional Irish songs that I know, or they were like pop songs that are hits in the UK. And when I was growing up, it was like, if you had a top 30 here in New Zealand, it'd probably be like 10 of them would be from the UK, another 15 or 16 would be from America, and then we'd have like 4, maybe 5 from New Zealand. So they were going hard out, and there was like 15 of them singing along, and I knew all their songs, and they were happy. So, but if the train driver doesn't like it, then they can tell them to be quiet, and they have to obey the train driver. But if the train driver doesn't mind it, then they only have to stop if the train driver tells them to stop, because then they would be disrespecting the train driver in security, and our job is to stop anything bad from happening. But these guys weren't doing anything bad. I think the train driver had enough. It's alright though, because they were going for about 15-20 minutes before the train manager said, "Oh, can you guys be quiet?" And told them to cut it out. But they went for like that long. But all the songs they were singing I knew off by heart. Now there was like 2 of them that would keep pointing back at me, and he goes, "Yeah, this guy's a good sport. Come out drinking with us. Come drinking with us." And I was like, "Yeah, I finish at 2 in the morning, so that's another 3 hours away. So I think it's a good idea to finish a shift that you agreed to take." And they started laughing. They were singing all these traditional Irish songs, and they were singing all these pop songs as well. And the train driver, this went for like 15-20 minutes, and then the train driver said, "Hey, can you guys quieten down?" And then threatened to kick them off, because he just wanted to be quiet. But it'll be like 5 minutes later that they'll start up again, and then the train stopped for like 5 minutes or so, and then after that they were quiet the rest of the night through. And then they started arriving once they knew there was no more stops, and it was only going to be like 5 minutes left to the arrival, and there's nowhere to stop off. They just belted it out again for like a couple of minutes. Yeah, I told the train driver of the next train that I was on, and they were like, "Oh, massive, that would have been awesome." And I was like, "Yep, that's what I think." You know, and the guys are saying, why? What's the problem? You know, some of the passengers, I said, oh, some train drivers, by law, I have to back up the train driver and the manager, and some train drivers and managers will do that, and if they do that, you have to listen by law. But if they don't, then, because that comes down to obeying the authority on the train, you know, obeying the operator and the security. Because if you're like, hey, you're like, no way, and if you're like, you know, no way, never, no more, will I play the wild rover, no, never, no more, and then you're hugging the person next to you and shaking hands with someone on the other side. It's not like, doesn't look like you guys are going to come and have a punch up, you know, so. Especially if you're pointing at the security guards going, yeah, you know the words, come with us. You know, singing these other songs too. And anyway, it's going to be a short description for the actual song, eh? Oh yes, Anne Gordon. So I do my very best to remember people's names, but it's one of the things that I'm bad with, and I've been meeting a lot of people, and one of the workers came up to me, hey Daniel, how's things? And I was so embarrassed because I actually like this guy, and but we don't really work together much, just passing by. And then I had to say, oh, it's been a good night. Yes, it's been a good night. And he's like, yeah, and then walked off. But he looked a little bit disappointed or something, and I was ashamed because I didn't remember his name, and it came his name came to my mind, and then I double checked it with another worker, and they're like, yep, that's his name. So sorry, Gordon. Sorry. And your name's Gordon, I know you. It just slipped for a moment. So this song, in 2.5 minutes out of 10 minutes. Oh well. This song is, which one is it? Oh yeah, Burst Your Bubble. It does. This is an example. It's about how, like, because when I was, because I said earlier that I got my first iPhone when I was 19, and then created my first social media page at Facebook when I was 21. But no, I was on Bebo, and I just was there because other people were there. But I didn't join Facebook until I was 23 because I believed it to be what it is, which is the breakdown of communication within society. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, let's stay connected with each other by using these devices. And I didn't throw in the towel, but I just made a profile so that if someone moved out of the region, I could contact them that way if I lost their phone number. And it went from there. So I adapted over time, you know, and so I created my first Facebook profile for that reason when I was 23. By the time I got to my late 20s, it was time to adapt. But I still believe in talking to the person, you know. So yeah, it's about trying to fight against the rising levels of depression in this country and anxiety, because we're not living in a war zone, but the need of social connection has been destroyed. So yeah, it's good to talk to each other and say hello, and burst your bubbles are kind of cool way of saying it, but at the same time I realise I'm turning 35 next month, so I think it's cool. I don't know about the young ones, but because I'm okay with getting old, because the thing is if you made the most of what you had, the time you had it, and the years you had, you made the most. You did everything you could to have your best life and do things for other people and those who love you, if you're lucky enough to have some, well, most people do. And you have made an impact, whether people acknowledge it or not, or realize it or not. You shouldn't be ashamed of everything, because you did what matters. And getting old is inevitable.